And it's time now for Your Life Matters with clinical social worker Dr. Beth Plachetka from Safe Harbor Counseling and Dr. Beth Speaks. Dr. Plachetka, how are we doing this morning?
Really good, thank you. It's nice to see you again.
Yes, good to see you as well. As we're closing out the month of October, we've been focusing on bullying in our first sets of shows, and we have one more topic that kind of ties in with that for today. So we want to remind folks about this month, October, Bullying Awareness Month, and another topic today about bullying.
Exactly. I'd like to really review, because I've gotten a lot of questions about whether or not a person is being bullied, what they should do about it, how they should respond. I think the very first thing that is really important to pay attention to is it's not just kids. You know, sometimes it's easier when it's kids because an adult can intervene and stop the process. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of bullying going on in workplaces, among adults, sometimes in neighborhoods. It can be churches, hospitals, schools, all different kinds of places where people work, you find bullying.
Yeah, and it's it might be a bit of an eye-opener for listeners to know that, it's not just kids. Clearly, there are cases where adults are doing it, but it seems like it's a little bit more widespread, a little bit more prevalent than maybe we first thought. Huh?
Exactly, and I think often we miss it because we always think there's something that if it's happening to me, I did something wrong, I should do something about it. Yes, we should do something about it, but usually it's not because you did something wrong. It's very real, it's very painful. It can cause physical, mental, emotional symptoms. It can affect social interactions and relationships because you kind of tend to withdraw because you're afraid, because you don't know where it's coming from. And it affects friends and family members by connection. Just being related to somebody or being in their presence, you can tell that they're in pain, and then you start feeling bad too. We've
talked over these first few shows about the different types of roles that there are in a bullying situation.
Exactly. There's obviously a bully who demonstrates certain behaviors that we can take a look at. There's people who know what's going on, can see it, but are not part of it. And then there's, of course, the target. The target is typically somebody who's very good at their job, has good social skills, and tends to cut other people slack, think that they're just having a bad day and not take offense easily. The witnesses begin to be afraid because they don't want it happening to them. But bullies, of course, they are doing certain things beyond just regular rudeness. And it's not their personality style, because if somebody is mean or grouchy all the time to everyone, that's just how the person relates to the world. These are behaviors that are targeted at someone.
Yeah, and maybe a little more about some of the examples of these types of behaviors, things we can kind of look for to get a sense for who might be a bully or if we are a target of some bullying.
Exactly. And I think it's good to know these, because the earlier you recognize them, the more quickly you can do something about it. So it would look like purposely doing or saying things to make a person feel bad. There could be communications, interactions that are written, verbal, that can be physical, finger pointing, they could be electronic, that carry a negative message. And it hints that you are doing something wrong or that you are wrong, but doesn't tell you how to fix it. It happens often. It happens over a long period of time. So it's not just when somebody's having a bad week. Examples are finger pointing, raised voices, tense looks, dirty looks, false accusations, or sharing personal information that should be kept private.
And then as far as the target and even the witnesses, too, that you bring up, they're feeling all kinds of different things.
Oh, exactly. Emotionally, they feel anxious, tense, depressed, helpless and hopeless. Mentally, they're confused, difficulty remembering things, that cognitive functioning starts going. And physically, their stomachs hurt. They sometimes have heart palpitations, migraine headaches. And if they're under stress for a really, really long time, whole systems, like even your bones and your circulatory system, can be affected.
So what are some of the things we can do to try to combat this?
Okay, well, I think if it's early on, directly saying to the bully, hey, I'm very concerned. We're not getting along in the way we used to. Can we talk about this? Identifying for the bully clearly and calmly what you see, so that you're kind of calling them on the behavior without having to be aggressive, and also expressing a willingness to discuss it. You want